get this started. Okay, so this week we wanted to go over the appointments setup, bit of a rundown on it, and what you can expect out of it, and hopefully get you going on it if you'd like to use it in your own schools as well. We are still trying to add a few more things in, things like a point of sale, stuff like that, but all coming down the pipeline, so it will be getting to you all soon. All right, to start, let's go over the setup. In order to even get into and properly set up any of the appointments, you got to make sure your core setup is done. So everything under the core, make sure you got all locked down and good to go, because it does draw from these settings. It has settings of its own, but a lot of the base does come from this. So you want to make sure, especially things like your services and your programs, are definitely done and lined up. But after all those are done, you can actually come into your advanced features here and pop right on into appointments. Hello, hello. We just got started over here, Ms. Davis, so you're not too late to this party.
Alrighty.
So much like all the other setup with Cosmo Classroom, you're going to want to start from top to bottom. And from the top, we're going to start with school hours. Now, through the program setup, you did set up times for your programs when they were able to clock in, when they should be clocking in, how many hours they should be in there for. In this case, it's more for your client floor. So when your building is actually open and ready for clients to come in and have services. So you'll start by selecting whatever days you are open for, just simple check mark box. And then you'll have your hour time frame. So here we have 9:15 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this will help start to define client-facing stuff for your clients when they pop in to make an appointment, which we will go over. But once you do have it all set and it's looking good, it's as easy as save appointment schedule, and you're all good to go. Easy first one there. Next up is stations. Now, stations is a little bit different. How the appointment system works is that it goes over three key things in order to pull up a student or have them assigned for a service. The first being the time frame that we just went over, so making sure it's in the right hours. The second is the stations. What we wanted to do with this is to make sure you're not overbooking and tripping over yourself if you accidentally threw down too many, let's say, pedicures and you don't have enough bays. So that way you're not overscheduling, you're not, telling a client, sorry, we are going to have to push this to later. Yes, that's possible, don't have to reschedule. If it's something that's already filled up, the system will not allow a schedule service to be made. And these ones are pretty easy, pretty quick to set up. So in this case, we're going to let's just do hair cutting chairs like the example says. And then how many chairs you end up having. So let's put down 15. You can activate to make sure that it is bookable, or have it off to the side just for the time being. Maybe you have extra beds, but they're more so for separate classes. They're more for learning for the students instead of availability for clients. But you got an overflow, you can always pop back in here, check it as active, and hit create. Now you can see we have a few others going on: aesthetic beds, the haircutting chairs, pedicure chairs, and you can always pop back in here, change whatever you need, and get it saved over again. You can even remove them completely if you needed to, which I'm going to do with this haircutting chairs real quick because I already got one. That was just a quick little example. So once you do have all of them set up, that's step 2. That's the other big thing. The third thing that the appointment system looks for when it comes to scheduling a service for students is that that student has been evaluated and has passed that service. So whether it's a 0, a 45, a 90-degree haircut, they need to be evaluated and passed on that service before our appointment system will even recognize that they're good for clients. And we can go over that as well. But let's pop into appointment services. This is a little different from the services you have already set up. You need those prior services set before being able to go in here. But basically what this is for is a lot of states, they're going to require things like students need so and so many hours in a 0-degree or a 45-degree haircut. Not a lot of your clients are going to come in knowing what exactly they want or what a 45-degree might even be. In this case, what we've done is we've allowed you to, let's go ahead and do like a kid's cut. And then we can go ahead and link all of the services. How did you get to the page where you set the appointments? So the appointment stuff is for the scheduled times. Let's just go back there real quick. So from the home page for your admin screen, to find the appointment scheduled times, pop into your admin tools, into the appointments under this advanced features setting, and then it's just school hours. We got another guest trying to get on in here. Perfect. But yes, under the school hours, pop into here, and this is where you'll be able to set it's your clientele floor, it's your clinic floor hours that you'll be able to set up for your appointment system. But let's get back to that appointments real quick. So again, this is more for your clients when they go to sign up for a service. You want to make sure that they're getting the thing that they want while also properly applying those service hours to the students' grades, to their progress. So again, let's just do a kids cut again. And service category we'll go over in just a moment. But now you can scroll down just a little more and you'll see link school services. And this is where you can throw in, all right, 0-degree, 180. Let's see here, is there a short? You can search by what you need as well. But you can apply all of your actual services, especially the ones labeled specifically by the states, to any particular haircut or service. In this case, again, it's just a kid's cut. Next, you'll be able to put down the duration, how long this may take. And we usually judge this by, and this isn't against your students, but usually by the slowest student. How long does it take them to technically get a kid's cut done, or a men's haircut done, or an acrylic set done? In this case, we'll just go ahead and do 55 minutes. Maybe we're also giving them a little credit since this is a kid's cut. Maybe the kid's a little squirmy. Maybe they just don't want to sit down in the chair. Along with that, you have the cleanup time. So 5 minutes is the base. We'll just do 10. Give them a little extra time to be able to scrub down properly, not feel like they're in a rush and miss something critical like not getting their combs or their clippers cleaned right. And that's a gross situation. Next, we have the stations that we will be assigning this to. In this case, it's just haircutting chairs. But whatever that service would be, pop it in with the correct station. And this will help the system keep track of what is technically available for scheduling for services. You can also put the price that the client will see. So let's just say, it's a kid's cut, they get a deal, it's $10. Finally, it's something bookable on public page, which just means the website, the actual client spot. Again, we'll go through that in a moment. But if you didn't want it visible, maybe for the time being, maybe you're only doing a special for a little while, you can make it visible, click it on or off. We'll keep it on for the time being. And then the description. So you can get a little specific. Let's see here. Kids cut. Ages, let's say 10 to 12. Right? So that's the youngest you're willing to take in, or the time frame or the age frame that they're actually applicable for a kid's cut. Perfect. And then finally, you can have add-ons for that service. So maybe it's not just a cut, maybe they also want to get a dye along with it. I know this is a kid's cut, but just for the example, you can add on, and this is things that the client will be able to see when they're checking out in the appointments. The extra bonuses, the additions that you throw on there. And we'll just do, let's do that deep condition. I like that. Another 20 minutes, and it's an extra $5 on the cost. You can add a description if you need to, but now, just to wrap this all up, the service category. This is more for the organization itself on the client-facing appointment page. So let me save this. Let me actually put this under kids services so that we can hit create. Ooh, am I missing something? Unable to save right now. Come on. That's all right. If it's giving me a bit of trouble, we still have plenty of other examples. But as I was showing, just go back here, that service category, you can also see on your own end too. We put it under hair, it'll group itself under that hair category so that you can get right quick to it. Nails, same kind of deal. But now you get your whole available menu, everything that a client is able to sign up for services wise, and they'll be able to see it throughout their scheduling process. Extensions, oh, that one's hidden. All right. Next bit is our intake forms. We made these so that they can either be very specific per services, or if you kind of want one big long 25 questionnaire, the whole point is that they're able to do it online at home when they're getting this scheduled up. And so that you don't have to keep printing out more, right? You don't have to wait for them to walk in, fill things out, and maybe now the service can't even go through because they're allergic to some specific brand you're using or something like that. And now that's a whole new mess and you've lost the client there. But in this case, we'll do nails consultation, the description, list allergies, keep spelling prior conditions, and then you can then select what services this form is for. You can go ahead and select it all if you wanted to do a broad sweep of everything, or since in this case it's just some nail stuff, let's just pop for the acrylic nail and the removal, just for, let's do the builder gel as well. After that, you can require it only once, so that way it sticks to the client's profile and you don't have to worry about it again. They filled it out, you got the information, you can review it as need, and I'll show you where you can get that information reviewed too, along with requesting a signature, so that, hey, we know that you filled this out, you're signing it, everything on it's A-OK, it's from your own doing, and you're good to go. Finally, you can add very specific questions, and this is where all that major filling out actually comes in from. So short answer, list allergies, and you can make it required, so they can't move on until they fill this out. You can also do different types of question answering, so you can have drop downs, check boxes, multiple choice if need be. Have you had a service done here before? Yes. No. You can keep adding the options as need be, but this is where, again, the chunk of that actual intake is going to be made and filled out for. Again, required or not, remove as need be, but once you are done, you can hit save form, and now it pulls up on your main list. Now we have a general intake, and now we have a nails consultation as well. Again, however you want to throw down with this, if you want a one and done for all of your services, you can do that. You can totally set that up to where a client can fill out the form once, it bundles up everything, and it's good to go for any of the services from then on out. Maybe you just don't have all that kind of customers who do every sort of service. Maybe you only get, one or two old ladies popping on in, and they really only like to get their nails and their hair done. That's okay. You can have a form just specific for that if you need it. But that's the flexibility we want to bring for you. Now, if you hit preview, you can get an idea of what the customer will be seeing. So full name, phone number, pop in an email, and these are all, again, from those questions you can set up. So you can request the full name, the number, email, here's the allergies, and then finally the client signature. All right, now the last bit of the setup, it's more of to view. You can add clients in here too, but it is the client section. I got 3 totally fake. These aren't real people. So I got Skibbity Bop, Rando Not Real, and just Not Real. You're able to search for any of the clients you need, edit their forms, and even manage things like notes and appointments from this screen right away. You can also check to see if any forms from them have been submitted. In this case, Skibbity Bop ain't got nothing in here. He hasn't pulled in any of the forms yet. But say you have somebody walk in, fresh off the street, they really only heard of you because they were driving by. You're able to pop in all of their information, get them down as a client right here and now. Again, first name, last name, email and phone number are optional, but of course you might want to nab those for especially that number. We do send reminder texts and notifications to not just the client, but to your students who are involved with that service as well. I got enough examples here. I'll be all right throwing down on the new clients, but this is where, even if they didn't come through the system this way, which let's go check that out real quick. So down in your URL section, you'll actually have a client profile, or the appointments. So we'll press on that. This is what they'll see if they're going to, or they being your clients, will see when they're going to sign up for a new service. So the first step is, as you can see, we have our categories that you can set up if you wanted it to be a little more chunked out, a little more organized. They're able to check it all out, see your full menu of what you have, the pricing and everything, nice and uniform. In this case, we're just gonna do that kids cut. Once they select, they'll have book up at the top. They'll see the price, how long it's estimated to take, and now they're able to select a student. No preference is selected by default, but they have more options here. And I'm just going to do this student here, but they're able to, maybe it's a parent trying to come in and get their kid some extra hours in a certain service. They're able to find them. The big thing is again, students need to be, what's the word? They have to be cleared for that service. If they aren't, whatever service they aren't, I cannot think of the word, but whatever service they're not actually cleared for, they won't pop up in this list. So if it was nails and Ak here wasn't certified in nails, that's it, certified, they wouldn't pop up at all. And that's just one of the things we're making sure we look out for, so that clients aren't getting thrown in with students who aren't even evaluated, aren't even certified to pop in here and get that done. But once they do select a student, they'll be brought to a calendar view, and all the block off days in that schedule, if you remember, we're closed on a Wednesday. So every day that month for Wednesday, cut off the list. That's the first thing it checks on that schedule. In this case, we got today's the 17th. We'll run that today. Continue to time. From here, let's also do a different day so you can see a better list. So we do it at 15-minute increments on how it's all chopped up, but they can select a time and keep moving forward. This is all based off of the student's schedule as well, something that we will double check over here in just a moment. But I'm going to go back, sign up for today. Let's do 1:30, continue, and it's asking if I want to come back here as a new customer, but we'll just do first name me, last name also me, email not real, email me at me, and then any extra appointment notes that the client may need. And with this, as they fill this out, they're making a profile for themselves so that they don't have to come back in here and fill this all out again. You know, again, in this case, it's asking if I'm a returning customer. I'm not going to hit that. That's just fine. Once they get that filled out, they can hit continue. Finally, it's kind of the last bit of the receipt. You see what services you're getting, how much it's going to cost, the time it's at. They can view cancellation policies. And finally, the understanding that this is a student doing this. Are you okay with that? Understand that they're still in training, they're still working on their stuff, but they have been certified, they have been cleared to do this. So we'll hit sign and book. And now they're able to either book another appointment if they needed something else going on, or to fill out the intake forms. Now the only one we got right now is just that's related to haircuts, is the general intake. We're going to go ahead again, Phone number, we'll do just some random numbers here. Email not required, so we'll just keep that. No allergies. Me, also me. As the signature. Boom. Done, just like that. Now when they walk in, you can see if they've got the intake form good and down. If not, pass them one. Got to get that all filled out. Back out of this now. And show you kind of the command center for it all. As an admin on your home page, you can hit front desk and then front desk appointments, and you'll be brought into a nice little calendar view for the day. My phone needs to stop. Okay. As you can see all of your students for that day. You can sort by clicking any of these colors. So as you can see, blue is going to be our cosmetologist. We can unselect them, removes them from the list. Now we see our aesthetics, our instructors, our manicurists. Again, don't need instructors right now. Let's just look at manicurists. You can easily and quickly filter out all of your programs as need be. But for this, I'm going to stay in all for just a moment. Now, different colors, different symbols for throughout the day. But as you can see, we got our time on the side. You can see on a scale of what's going on, what that student may have going on that day. To start off with, anything in red is a no-show, whether that's the client or the student. So as you click into any of these services, you'll see the whole rundown. What the time was supposed to be, the client who you can click and pull up their more info on, and even manage more notes for. The service, the status, which in this case the client no-showed. No extra notes. It's unpaid, unfortunately, but no service did happen. And then who it was created by. Now this says front desk staff. Anything made on this menu here, easy as clicking in on a time and filling it out, which we'll go through in just a moment, will be labeled as made by front desk staff. This one, green, means it's done. It's good, passed on through, nice, completed. Again, just a change in the status. Oopsie. A nice little dollar sign mean it's been paid for. So you got the money for it in your bank. The red exclamation point means that intake forms haven't been filled out for this client. So missing forms. The earlier one that note showed is also missing forms for this day. But you can also go ahead and mark even future stuff, which are marked by this little blue line here. So this is a future status. You can still mark as paid for. When we do get that point of sale going, I'm going to see if we can swing to maybe have it so that they can pay right then and there at the end of their service sign up. Make it something that isn't required but could be done. So that way you can see, hey, they've paid for it. So they're most likely always going to be coming in, especially if it's already out of their pocket. Students can request blocks of time to be taken off of the scheduler. So when we were setting up an appointment with our student here, the 12 to 1:30, none of that was popping up, mostly because they were already filled up here. But when students request a block off event, this is something that has to be approved by you. But they can say, hey, I'm taking a test at this time, or hey, I'm actually leaving at this time, or I gotta go family thing, whatever it needs to be. They can send in a request to have them taken off the scheduler. So clients for that block of time can't sign them up at all. So as you can see again, the time that they need, block off event, the reason, in this case they're taking a test, and approve or deny as you need. Now, something kind of similar looking at least at the first or at the start are student to student. We do give the option for students to sign up and schedule with another student for services to be done. Now this one hasn't been approved or denied yet, but you can take a look. The student is our bounty hunter, and you can even see off to the side here that even though it's not a service for or that the student is doing, it'll be a block off request or act as a block off for the student receiving that service. So we can go ahead, doing a manicure, perfectly fine, approve the request. Ooh, one of the students already has an appointment at that time. It's probably messing up with that client we just did. So now we can check to see, all right, am I gonna pick the student service here or the client service? Since I didn't approve that beforehand, that time slot was still available. In this case, let's just go ahead, cancel this appointment. You can cancel, send a text saying, hey, sorry, but the student, we had to cancel this service. I'm gonna do it without a text since there's no number. And it just removes that scheduling completely. But now we can go ahead, boom, hit approve, and it turns purple. Purple is the service, student to student service colors. So now you can see bounty hunter's gotten himself a manicure going on, and this is the student that's doing it. And again, much like all the other services, you can check it all out, see the time, see the notes, if they pay or not. Obviously that's all up to you. You can mark it as paid, mark it unpaid, removes that $sign. And then once it is completed, hit it again, it'll turn green, but it'll be kind of outlined a little purple so that you know this was still a student to student service. Finally, you can even edit appointments. Now, what makes this screen a little powerful is that it ignores a lot of the rules that you have set up for your appointments. So you can shift, rearrange, toss, do whatever you need to do to get maybe a client squeezed in here. Maybe they weren't evaluated properly, and now you got to toss them off the books real quick. Through this screen, you can pretty much ignore any of the setup rules outside of the evaluation. Evaluation is the number one big rule that we keep set in stone. So if they aren't evaluated and not passing on that evaluation, they can't pop up in here. But you're able to set up any sort of service. So manicure, no polish, no add-ons for this. Continue on. Since we clicked under, let me go back. Since we clicked under any column for that student, it will default, again, condition treatment, to that student. But again, you can click right here, toss them out, search for a different student if you needed to. Let's do that. Alderon Noble, continue. Here's your times and dates again. Let's just say 1:30. And you can even select the client coming in or make a new profile. Maybe they're a walk-in and they're standing right there in front of your register. You can get them right in and through the system. This case we'll just do not real. Boom, pop on over, and then any of the extra additional notes. Save and send that text, meaning that client, if there was a number in, which you can require, so there should be, send a text over off to them, basically just confirming and reminding them that this is the service, this is what's happening today, but we'll save without a text. And this is what I mean that by you can break the rules on this screen. So selected time is outside of the student's schedule. Maybe the program schedule or the school schedule that you had set up in admissions. Maybe it's out of that time frame. Maybe, just today's not a day you're even open. You can go, I don't care. Continue anyway, and it'll pop it right up onto their schedule. Now the student's going to get a notice about it, and the client, if it was sent off as a text. Finally, with that same thing, you have more options from this drop down here for front desk actions. You can schedule things like tours. You can check out your station mapping. You can see what hair cutting chairs are going to be available. Spot 1. We got a few spots. Let me try to drag it over. Just a little bit now. Ooh, come on. There we go. So the spots that you have, what's booked, a little bit off to the side here. Can I just, nope, I can't. Can't use the arrow keys. That's okay. See who's in that spots for what time so that you can maybe just get a little more nitpicky on just your stations. Pop back to the front desk. You can schedule tours. Select the date, no tours, schedule for this time. You can add a new tour if you got a walk-in student or to-be student and you want to get them going. You can also do block-off requests. So maybe a student's coming up to you and saying, hey, I know I should have done this a few days ago, but yada yada, test taking, team meetings, emergency class, you're able to make a block off for that student. That does not need to be approved because it's coming from a staff member, because it's coming from you instead of a request from a student. And then finally, you can completely hide students. This will throw them off the list for hiding for clients to be signed up for and for the front desk screen that we've been going over here. So if I didn't want Ox here to do anything, they were the first in that row, we hide them, they're gone, off the list. And they're not going to be able to be scheduled for things anymore. Of course, you can go back, unhide that student, bring them back to the list. Ooh, come on now. Refresh there, but bam, right back and good to go. The last few things, you can make this a list view if you wanted to. Nice little banner colors going on. This will just kind of pull from the first column that has actual scheduling in it. And then you can, oh no, we're already on the calendar, but you can also pick and choose. You want to check out yesterday's stuff, which test school, a lot of this is just going to be blank. But you can pick and choose whatever days. Maybe you needed to double check if a student was doing a service, or if they're trying to fly by and get a couple extra hours for a no-show, and they're still trying to get the hours for it anyway. You can go back, double check, and be sure on if they really are telling you the truth, or if they deserve to have that service still filled out. And good for them. Let's see here. You can also check out canceled appointments. As you can see, the one from earlier, the me also me, we had to toss that out so that the student service could go through. You can check in here and see all that was canceled, not only for just this day, go back in the past again, search by student or client name too if you needed to. Move on back to appointments and client profiles. You can see all of your clients listed out nice and neat. Click on any of them and you can see all of the services that they've had. You can check out their text history if you were sending notifications in the first place. And then you can merge clients. So maybe grandma accidentally made 2 profiles for herself. That's okay. Happens. You can select and choose which ones. Oh boy. I guess we're not ready for merge just yet. Not yet. But you can select, slam them together, keep the common information, and even if they had filled out separate intake forms, they get merged together, plopped into one nice little account there. Whew. Kind of a longer one, kind of a bit of a mouthful to go through all those ones, but again, just to reiterate, your setup for this, make sure your core stuff is done first. Oops. So all of the stuff under your core setup, make sure that's filled out before you actually pop into appointments and start filling out those setting informations. I'm gonna stop the recording now. Feel like we've gone through a good chunk of this, the good overview of it.